welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hey there, enchantresses. Welcome. I have for you a very special series, as I mentioned in the previous episode, never before done. And this is the Tia favorite series. So this is all about me giving you some behind the scenes of how I vibe high, maintain my peace and mental health, and strengthen my magic. This has been a process that has taken many years, many trials and errors. So my goal with this is to make it fun, provide some options, some insights to help you along your path, because I'm here to tell you I am someone who used to not do any of these things I'm about to talk about. So there's definitely that sense of, can I do this? Is it worth it? All that jazz. We're going to get into it. But before that, if we are not connected on Instagram, I'm going to be saying this over and over and over again. Let's get connected. I post on Instagram stories where you get to know me even better, get even more of that connection, really. Okay. So my main page is cosmic_witch_goddess. And of course, the podcast Instagram page is enchantress_society_podcast. The links for those will be in the description for this episode. And I encourage you to, if you have questions, to post it underneath that image for this podcast, or even send me a DM on the Instagram page for the podcast. Totally free there to help continue the conversation. All righty. So skincare. This has been pretty much, a lifelong journey. Okay. I'm someone who at one point had so much acne in my adolescent years that one guy counted the dots on my forehead. So really you could connect the dots. And when I tell people, it's like, oh, that's cruel. That's also, middle school. I didn't feel offended because I also had a little witty comeback for him, but it was true. I had a lot of acne bumps and they were painful, etc. They left scars. And I tried so many products from the time, puberty hit, really. You name it, I definitely tried it. The whole, do this 5-in-1, wait 2 minutes, wait 5 minutes, do this, do that, go to the doctor, get prescriptions. Nothing lasts long. I have sensitive skin. Actually, it's more like a combination. And it made some of the products made my skin red, and it was just horrible, just rash, dry. It's been a process. It's been one hell of a process. And also, I was someone who used to not look in the mirror often. I would just look to make sure I was decent, but, not really observing myself, not really taking it all in. It was more like, okay, my sweater matched my Tim boots. Okay. It's like everything's together. My hair is brushed. Cool. Okay. We're good. But over time, and especially when you hang around people, this is why the people who you hang around matter. They can be a good influence, because sometimes when we look at certain things, especially when we've tried it so many times, skincare products, it's, I've been there, I tried it, it's not going to work for me. I'm just going to deal with it, right? I'm just going to deal with these acne bumps and acne scars. I'm just going to deal with it. Fast forward, I'll spare you all the other details. Fast forward, we have this wonderful woman named Rihanna who dropped a skincare line. And I heard so many great reviews. And I won't mention any other products I use, but a lot of the products I used beforehand, they weren't long lasting. For example, if I got sick and, I just really couldn't get out of bed, or life happens and I miss a day of, doing it twice a day or something like that, then boom, things will pop right back up almost in no time. With the Fenty skincare line, I've seen such great results in such a short period of time and have been long lasting, and it smells good. I'm like, do I smell like Rihanna now a little bit? No, I literally told the lady that in Sephora, or asked her that. I was like, so will this make me smell like Rihanna? I heard she smells really good. So I'm going to tell you what I use. I'm obsessed with the Fenty skincare line. End of story. I don't know what else to say. So here's what I use. Hold on, I have the website up here so I can give you the full scoop. I purchased the full size bundle starters, the Total Cleanser Makeup Removing Cleanser with Barbados Cherry, the Fat Water, and the Hydra Visor Invisible Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen, all that jazz. And it has like melons in it and everything. And here's the thing, it's a simple process. It smells so good, like so good. My face looks so radiant, but most importantly, not only does it take care of my acne, which is basically non-existent, I have very little blemishes. Like the very last blemishes are just fading away. I can't believe it. I'm just like, oh my God, I wish she did this sooner because I'm just so giggly about this because it has truly been a journey. And it's been so frustrating when you just want to look your best before you put on makeup, right? It's hard, at least for me, it was very hard to really show up the way I wanted to when I know I had scars and like just blemishes from acne, or knowing that, the bumps were big and there's nothing I could do about it because I had to wait, warm compress and all that. So I love that I am giving my skin the proper treatment. So if you're not familiar with the product, the Total Cleanser, the makeup remover, again, it smells good. All right. So it's vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, all that jazz. A little bit of the details. All right. It states here that it's I love this because it says makeup whites canceled. Yes, definitely. It's creamy and lather. It's a creamy lather that removes dirt, oil, and long-wear makeup without stripping or drying, which is great because the foundation that I use is a really good foundation. It does last pretty long. So it gets it right on up. It's a really good product. And it states here, the Feel Good formula transforms from a cream to a decadent lather. And like I said, it won't strip. Purifies pores, help fight shine long after you rinse it off. Made with antioxidants, packed Barbados cherry. Yes, coconut-inspired cleansers to treat the skin right. And it really does smell like cherries. And I remember just thinking like, I got transported to Barbados. Like every time I wash my face. And here's the thing. I don't like washing my face at night because it's so invigorating. I'm like, I'm trying to wind down, but it's just so refreshing. I'm just like, oh, I just feel like doing something and showing my face off because I have the essence of Barbados with me. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, and I'm not getting paid for this, by the way. This is not a collab. I just genuinely love the product. And I am in some ways kicking myself in the butt because I didn't take a before picture because I was just I'm just like, I knew it was going to work and I was doing it just for me. So I knew what my face looked like beforehand with, some of the blemishes that I had and, acne and stuff like that. But when a few weeks went by, I was like, holy shit. I sent the picture to my best friend. I'm like, look at my face. Look at it. And I had to send her like an older picture of what my skin looked like because I just didn't have a before because it was on my personal journey. So that's the only thing I wish I had for you. But trust and believe, okay, my face is freaking glowing. My face is doing very well. Okay, it stays here oil-free, so it won't clog the pores for all skin types. It states here consumer study on 54 women after one use, 98% of users agree it thoroughly cleanses and refreshes skin, cleanses pores, removes dirt and oil, removes makeup. This is all in the high 90s. So that's the first one. This is a 3-in-1. So that's the first one. The second one is the fat water. And even the branding is just nice. Okay. Instantly refines the look of pores, reduces the look of dark spots. Hello, that's me. Even skin tone and fights shine without stripping skin. Yes. All right. This is a 2-in-1 toner serum combo that targets pores, improves the look of dark spots, brightens, smooths, and fights shine, again, all without stripping the skin. So it also helps to brighten the skin so that way it's even toned. Okay. It's a unique texture that absorbs instantly, just pours into you can pour it into your hand. And again, I just don't know what else to say. It's amazing. It's nourishing and hydrates. It leaves the skin smooth. That's another thing too. I had to stop touching my skin because it feels so damn good. I'm just like, oh, this is lovely. My skin smells good. It feels good. And it stays here. It smells like sweet blend of cherry and sun-kissed fig. I'm just saying. And then it has high ratings again in the 90th percentile. Leaves skin feeling fresh, absorbs quickly, purifies and softens skin, brightens skin, creates healthy looking skin. Next, the final step, the Hydra Visor, Invisible Moisturizer. Light as air hydration, invisible sun protection, defends and brightens skin while reducing the look of pores. This is a 2-in-1 moisturizer and sunscreen that is lightweight, oil-free, and truly invisible, and is for all skin tones. All right. So I love this. It states here, it claps back at dehydration, discoloration, and dark spots. What else is there not to love? All right. And it states here, light as air, all day hydration, SPF 30 protection, boost and brighten skin, reduces the look of dark spots, sleek, and it's refillable packaging. It's made with, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but I'm going to take a shot at it. Kalahari melon, and other things that I can't pronounce, but it works. Okay. You could go to fentybeauty.com and, the one side is Fenty Skin, the other side is Fenty Beauty. I'm definitely going to make my way to other products because I'm so satisfied. So that's my face and my neck. And I also use a little bit on my chest area. Now, I use the Buff Rider Exfoliating Body Scrub. This is also by Miss Rihanna. Okay, with superfine sand and fruit enzymes. Okay, when I tell you, when I use this after I leave the shower, my skin is so freaking smooth, smells good. I just don't know what else I can say. All right. So it states here, Buff the Rough brings the smooth made with sugar, salt, superfine sand to exfoliate while fruit enzymes help soften. So my skin is already soft and it made it extra soft. Give your skin the Barbados Beach treatment all year round. Hello, yes. Sugar, salt, so I mentioned that, but effective exfoliating. And while decadent oils deeply nourish and soften, your skin is left feeling smooth and polished and pampered straight from the shower. Like I said, the shower, right? Um, it states here, a warm, delicious tropical scent reminiscent of caramel and guava, packed with antioxidant, vitamin C, Barbados cherry extract that helps rejuvenate the skin. And so this is part of my daily, and I do the exfoliant, the buff rotter, about twice a week. This is my daily ritual. Skincare is so important to me because one, well, your skin is the largest organ of your body. We need to take care of it. But also, I feel better knowing that I'm nourishing myself with products that actually work, that the money I'm investing in myself is worth it. And I'm saying this because there was a time where I thought, I try so many products. It's not worth it. I'm just going to use soap to wash my face, or like try this one product. And for some people, one product can work. But I do encourage you to invest a little bit more into yourself. And this is a luxury. You should treat yourself to luxury things, right? You should treat yourself. And not a treat as in you had to do all these things to earn it. This is taking care of yourself. So I'm encouraging you to find your skincare regimen. You may add the rose quartz roller to your face, have it in a little refrigerator, little freezer, roll it on your face to help with, what's it called? Drainage in your face. You can add that to your skincare line. But I love doing this because, again, it makes me feel more goddess-like, because I'm imagining the cherries as this beautiful fruit that helps with me feeling sexy. Because I look at cherries as something that's sensual, right? So it's really cool that the cherries and the other fruits that are being used, as we discussed in the previous episode, ingredients for spell work. I love that the fruits are being used in this way because they have those properties and it works. It smells good and it's a connection to the earth. And by extension, I feel like I have a little connection to Barbados. So I had to go fly there one day and really get that experience. But this is what's going to have to do until now. But also, it's making time for me. It doesn't take long to do this. Okay, I really just lather up the products, take my time, massage my face. Again, embodying, really pouring into doing this because it matters. I'm taking care of myself. And I found the best products for me, for my skin. It's not something that, doesn't smell good and it's rough on your skin. You're like, I'm just doing all these steps and it feels like a chore. It doesn't feel like a chore. I love it. It's just that at nighttime, like I said, it's so invigorating, the smells. And I'm just like, okay, I got to relax myself to go to sleep. Okay. So that's my skincare. And also, Fenty is coming to Philly, brick and mortar. I don't know the exact date, but I am super excited. When I tell you I am excited, I am over the hills excited. I want to throw my money, just take my money. I want this, I want that, so I can't wait. What I do is, what? I'm just thinking about this. I'm going to do a reel when Fenty opens up in Philly. I'm going to do a reel. I'm going to go in there and do that. I'm going to post it on Instagram. All right. So that's the skincare. Now, other self-care rituals. I drink a lot of water. A lot. I actually love water, especially when it's cold. It doesn't have to be flavorful. I like when it's carbonated too, when you can make your carbonated water. I love that. But while I'm drinking water, and I learned this from, oh gosh, what's his name? Hold on. I'm actually going to pause this recording. I want to find his name so I can get it right. It's the doctor who studied water. And I read his book years ago. He did a study on water. And hold on, actually, I think I found it here because I was typing. Okay, one moment. I will be right back, Enchantresses. All right. Back like I never left. All right. The doctor name is Masaru Emoto. And he has a book. You can just Google him, go on Amazon, type his name. He has a book that talks about water and the hidden messages of water. Okay. That's his New York Times bestseller, The Hidden Messages of Water. And so what he does is he would say things to water in a container like I love you, I love you, I love you, or I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And he would play different music and things like that. And you would see how the water will crystallize because again he would set it up so that way, when it's um as it's freezing, how it crystallizes and takes certain form, and then you'll see, read a book. Long story short is our words, our energies matter. And he shows that in the book. He has pictures. It's a really great book. It's an easy read. It's a quick read. So you can always go back and read it over and over and over again. And by quick read, I mean, because, well, at least for me, I was reading so fast because I couldn't help but consume it. I was just so engrossed in it. And I was just like, wow. So you may want to take your time while you're reading it, but I couldn't put the book down. So our words matter, our energy matter. When I'm drinking water, I don't have to say this out loud. I'll say to myself, I love you. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am healthy because I'm drinking that in, literally drinking that in. I slow down. It's one of my favorite things to do for self-care. I drink water in the morning. I don't eat right away in the morning. I'm actually at a point where I eat roughly once a day and I eat several snacks. For example, I would cook skinless, boneless chicken, and I would eat that as a snack. I have my Honey Nut Cheerios, eat that as a snack, like mixed nuts, things like that. And I would have one full meal, like cauliflower with shrimp, something like that. I get from Trader Joe's, something like that. But when I first wake up in the morning, sometimes I don't even drink the water first. I'm in silence, and I'll get to that. But when I do, drink, eat, the first thing I do is drink water. And I say that, and I'm drinking it in. So I'm just embodying that more. I'm surrounding myself with more love. I'm saying not only am I love, I'm drinking that in to add to it. And then I would have, of course, my Nespresso. I've been talking about this for, for the last couple of episodes, but I'm obsessed. I love it. I love strong coffee. I love the smell of coffee. I just love it all the way around. So I would have my latte or a cappuccino, whatever, in the morning after the water. And in doing so, again, I just take slow sips, being present. And sometimes if I just have black coffee, I put a little cinnamon in there because that helps too. And we talked about the properties of cinnamon, the cinnamon in black coffee. And I just drink it in, just a little bit of cinnamon. You don't want too much because, it could get a little clunky. All right. So, I would just drink that, take my time. If it's in the warmer months, I will open a window, let the breezes in. Sometimes I open up the window in the cooler months to get that crisp air, but it's slow sips to help me to slow down, to enjoy the moment. It's the small things. It's the background things, the back end things, the framework that gets skipped so many times. And when people talk about self-care, a lot of the default is facial mask, things like that. And that could very much be part of your self-care ritual. However, it's deeper than that, especially for us magical beings. We have to look at it as I'm fueling myself when I do this. And when I do this, I'm strengthening my foundations, right? We have to constantly strengthen check in on our foundations, just like with bridges. Eventually, they have to be looked at, evaluated, sometimes knocked down, rebuilt. Right? We had to check up on them. We had to check the cables on the bridges, make sure they're good. Sometimes it may last, I don't know, I'm just making it up, but some things last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and you got to go and like, oh, we're approaching that time. We, this has a life shelf of X years. Same thing with our foundations. We have to work on that. And I'm telling you, when I skip some of these processes sometimes because life, it just messes up my day. So when I get my morning started right, everything falls in line. Doesn't mean some things don't happen that aren't in my favor. It means that I'm better prepared to handle that. I'm not as reactive. So when I drink the water, I'm drinking in that love, protection, all that, all the things I want to bring more of in my life. And when I'm drinking my hot drink, I'm savoring that. I'm feeling warm inside. I feel protected and all that jazz. Okay. It's a little bit deeper for us. All right. Next is mind prepping, silence, incense music. So I rotate this in the morning. Okay. Sometimes while I'm washing my face, the mind prep is already working. Sometimes I wash my face in silence, drink in silence. So let's start with the mind prep. I go on YouTube. I've been doing this for years. I didn't realize it was a thing until I believe it was Tony Robbins who talked about it. I forget who it was, but I think it was Tony Robbins at the time. And I thought, oh, snap, that's what it's called. I was just getting my mind hyped because I call myself my own cheerleader. I say I'm my own cheerleader. So when I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's a thing. Cool. I'm on track. Right. So I just go to YouTube and I just type in motivation and I just scroll until I find a title that really calls out to me, hit play, and then I just let it go. And then when the next video comes up, I look at the title, see that resonates with what I'm working on that morning. I let it play. And sometimes 2 hours would go by. So I have 2 hours of mind prepping of, grit, determination, will, just being talked over and over and over again. So I'm listening to people like E.T., Eric Thomas, Wallow 267, Philly, Philly guy. Interviews from wildly successful people, millionaires, billionaires, scientists, astrologers, whomever, just people who have very good, not even good, have great input about life, about grit, about getting up when you're down for the 15th to 25th time, about understanding the people in your circle and the circle after that, understanding that, especially if you're on, I can't talk these brackets. Okay, here we go. We're going to slow down. Especially if you are an entrepreneur or someone who is living a life that is different than the norm, right? You are pursuing the ultimate version of you, personal growth and so forth. There's no end date to that. So if you're an entrepreneur, some of the things you probably heard was, oh, it takes 5 years roughly for you to. But what happens when it's year 8? What happens when it's year 10? What happens when you're 40? The end date is when you quit or die. That's when it stops. That's when it's done, full stop. When you make it, you just catapulted to the next level, right? It's not an ending. It's a beginning to the next level, next version, next everything of you. And we need those reminders. In life, doesn't even have to be about entrepreneurship. Pursue what you want, that career you want, that life you want. It gets rough. It's not easy. And the mind prep really helps me because there's so much information out there There's so much illusions. And what I say is, because sometimes people have issues with filters, I say perfectionism is faker than a filter. Trying to be perfect is faker than a filter. That's the ultimate illusion, right? Because we can see on Instagram when someone's using a filter, it states it below if it's a reel, up top if it's an Instagram story. And sometimes if they download the video and re-upload it, it doesn't state it, but you can kind of sort of tell when you have a good eye for that. But perfectionism, ooh, now that's something that people really have to work through, because the filters are only on your phone. Perfectionism infiltrates every area in your life. That is faker than a filter. And so I had to learn that, and this is a Virgo talking, perfectionism is something that can never be obtained. You know, in school we hear, oh, you know, the A paper is no errors. And then I saw, after years, some errors. You know, you have A plus, A minus. It really trips you up. So I love that mind prep. It gets me, it just like yanks me back on track, because we all go through it. Full moon comes around, we get in our feelings. New moon comes around, we want to go inward. We don't want to be bothered with no one, but we still have stuff to do. And then all the other things that happen in the world. And we need people to yank us back, right? We can have downtime to regroup, but we can't stay there. We can't stay in shoulda, woulda, couldville, and all that other stuff. So I love that mind prep, that watching interviews, Patrick Bet-David, you know, all these people who I'm mentioning, you can watch them on YouTube, obtain all that knowledge. And then when you can, if they have that service, you can maybe work with them one-on-one in a mastermind, so forth. But there's great knowledge out there that you can get for free to help you get right. And that's what I love, because again, in the morning time, our minds are so precious and even more of a sponge. So we want to make sure it's right. And I've been direct with people at times that I don't want to talk about so-and-so in the morning. We can talk about that in the afternoon, but not in the morning. I can't, and I won't allow that to happen. And this is a way I'm able to maintain my peace. We start the day off right with roughly 2 hours, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but on average, it's about 2 hours. All right, now, silence. I learned this when, so I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, one of the best experiences of my life, especially senior year. We learned about other religions, and we had what was called Kairos. It means God's time, and you go on a retreat. And we went to, I guess it's called a monastery. It was really like a mansion where retired priests go. And one day, we ate breakfast, I think, or was it a whole day? I know for sure it was breakfast in silence. That was so powerful. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe how peaceful that was. I'm surrounded by all these people. Their presence was just enough. No one had to talk. We're eating together. It was nice. And then at nighttime, we went in our own rooms, and, you know, we had a desk, a bed, you know, it was very basic, but it was just enough. And we had journals that we wrote in, and I just remember feeling so grateful. It was just something about the silence. And that was the first time I realized the power of, before I knew exactly what it was called, being with your thoughts. So some mornings I don't talk. And it's funny because when I have a conference call that's a little later in the morning, say like 10 or 11, my voice sounds a little groggy because I haven't had time to exercise. I didn't talk to anyone. So I had to tell people I didn't wake up. I didn't just wake up. I didn't talk to anyone today. You know, not that it matters what they think, But, when you answer the phone, you're like, it's like, what was she doing? I wasn't talking to anyone. I was minding my business. But I love this because I get to be with me. And if I don't like being with me, if I don't love being with me, if I don't love talking with myself, why would someone else enjoy that? That doesn't make sense. If I don't love me, then how much could someone else love me? How much could someone else talk with me? How much could someone understand me if I don't make time to understand myself? So when I have these silent mornings, I let the thoughts flow. I write down certain messages that come through. And that's it. I just spend that time with myself and allow emotions to come through. And sometimes it's something that has been buried that I didn't realize it. Sometimes, you just move on. You're like, okay, cool, I'm good. And then it pops up like, oh, you know what? And then I mentally talk myself through a situation like, okay, next time I can do better. Because it also allows for self-evaluation. It also allows for wherever emotion pop up to remind you of the blessings that you have around you. And sometimes I get a bit teary-eyed when I think about the support that I have. And I tell people time and time again, I have some of the best freaking friends on the planet. And I'm so grateful for them. And when I talk about them, sometimes I really do start to tear up because I'm so grateful. So next, I'll get my notes here. Oh, incense. Sometimes I burn incense in the morning and I play music. I don't play music too often in the morning like I did when I was younger. I do have my alarm set to music. So some of my alarms are Doja Cat. I wake up to her. But other than that, I'm playing some, what do you call it? Sensual music, if you will, I guess. It's like not binary beats. It's just like a deep kind of bass, and it just really gets to your soul. You just feel it. I'm someone who truly loves music. Like I listen to the beat of the music. I listen to the instruments of the music. Even though I don't know all the instruments, I just know like, oh, there's a ding, there's a boom, boom, pat, ba, 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 boom. And I just feel that. I'm like, yeah. And I feel like the drums in my soul and the incense is burning. And I'm going to dive more into the incense in the next episode, because I'm going to tell you where I get my incense from and all that jazz. So no worries. And I smell the incense and I work with my spirits and my ancestors and guides and goddesses, the ladies and lords of the watchtowers. I really dive into that when I burn my incense, and I just work with them during that time. And I ask for messages and protection and all that jazz. And sometimes I just burn the incense and smell it, and it just puts me in a mood. I rotate that because I need that. I learned over the years that for my mental health, I need to make sure my mind is fucking titanium. Fucking titanium. That's what I had to make my mind become in order to operate in this world. I have to be in touch with my emotions so I can control them. My moon is in Pisces, okay? Sometimes I'm a freaking tsunami if I don't pay attention, okay? So it's important for my mental health to make sure that I'm on track, because if I'm not, I stretch myself too thin, okay? I end up emotionally eating. All these things happen because in my mind, I can do it all. So I go out there and do it all. But as my inner child reminded me, I need to make time for play, more play, so I can do all the things I want to do. And this form of play involves me appealing to my senses, just enjoying this process. I enjoy the mind prep. Okay. I don't know how loud I am, but I know that I'm just like, yeah, I can, I will, I must in the morning. It sort of reminds me of, what's that book back in the day? Are You There, God Is Me, Margaret? and she wanted, the main character wanted to increase her bust. So she goes, I must increase my bust. And she did this little exercise to increase her bust line. So that had me thinking like, I must, I can, I will, and in doing that, not only do I raise my vibration, I also put a latch on the floor. So what becomes a ceiling is now on the floor, but I'm not falling back down. I can't go back. I raised my vibration too high to go back. And even in a more simpler context, Steve Harvey put it so well. He made the reference of flying first class. Now, a little side note, it depends on which airline, because I've seen some airline first class. I'm like, you paid that much money for this? Now, on other airlines, I'm like, oh, that's first class. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this depends on the airline, little side note. Okay, so he said, take a trip, and I'm paraphrasing here, book it first class. After a while, you won't go back to coach. You won't. You will become, what's the word I'm looking for? The accommodations of first class, the feeling of first class, the investment you put in there for a little extra space, a little extra whatever that is, you can't go back. Now, again, that doesn't mean that if there's a circumstance that you're like, screw it, we take coach. I'm not talking about that. It's the mindset. It's the mindset. Okay. This, my skincare, investing in me, how I look, being presentable, taking care of an organ of my body. Right? That's a domino effect. I'm taking care of me, and I get compliments often about my skin. And I know that that's going to also encourage someone to think, maybe I'll give this a little try. Maybe I'll try the smaller sample size and see how it works for me. Maybe I'll give it a try. And that's all I can ever ask, is to be open-minded, to give it a try. That's what was asked of me. My best friend suggested I wear makeup. Like, hey, we're going to the club. Let's try a little eyeshadow. Not, oh my God, you should. No, it's like, hey, like, let's try this. Be able to try. I was interested. I like makeup. I like art. Sure. Right? So that helps get me started. Okay. Next, boundaries. I create time blocks with people. Now, you've heard me mention many seasons ago, or maybe even on the blog, where I talked about, time blocking so you can batch your material and so forth, or just get your ideas out, when you have time, where you just brainstorm, you just write everything down on paper. I time block with certain people. You get 3 hours, that's it, we're done. Some people you can't remove from your life because their family, what have you. But you can have a bit of a distance. You can give them designated holidays. You get Easter. One family get together, such as a barbecue, and maybe a birthday. You get there at a specified time that you and your spouse, or you and whoever you're with, or if you by yourself, or your favorite cousin. Hey man, I'm going to get there around 5:00. I'm going to be there till about 7, 8ish. I'm going to get there around 3:30. I'm going to leave around about 7. Or you can make the mental note to yourself. And then around 6:30ish, you can be like, all right, guys. Yeah, because sometimes people want to talk. I don't like to linger. When it's time to go, it's time to go. I can't stand that. But sometimes you can't avoid it. So if you're getting there at 3:30, you got the time block set with certain people for boundary purposes. That 2:30, that 2 hours and 30-minute mark, Start slowly making your way out. Start slowly. Oh yeah, I'm about to head out. I'm going to say bye to everyone. Right? You do it in a manner that people can have a rebuttal for that process, right? You gave them time. You said your byes. What else can they ask for? What else could they ask for? Oh, you're leaving already? Yeah, I got, some things to do. Or you don't even have to say that. Like, yeah, I just, I've been here. I don't want to well, you probably can't say overstay your welcome because they're family, but you get what I'm saying. You can cater how you want to say that in case someone does try to give you a rebuttal for why you want to leave early. But overall, start focusing on time blocks with people. Because there are some people that you can't get rid of, your crazy aunt, your crazy uncle, your mom, your dad, whomever. So that's what I do with certain people. You get time blocks. That's it. We're done. Also, I no longer have FOMO, fear of missing out. Remember, that was a catchphrase a couple of years ago. In my 20s, I was boots to the ground. I was in so many networking events. I did the story slam. I was scared shitless doing a story slam. I was scared. And my friend, shout out to Olga, love her to death. She runs a workshop called The Charge Station. And she is just a fireball of energy. And she's like, you gotta go, you gotta go. And she went to the story slam. I'm like, no. She's like, come on, you're a speaker, aren't you? You want to do more speaking? You gotta get out. You gotta try this. So, man, I did it, and they give you a number, and I'm sitting down like, don't call my number, don't call my number, don't call my number. They called my number. I tell my story. Everyone loves it. I didn't win. So it was like this first, second, third place. And honestly, I didn't really care because I just wanted to sit down. I was very scared in case you didn't realize. And, but anyway, a lady from the local newspaper interviewed me afterward because she loved my story. I'm just like, oh, snap. So again, being scared, sometimes that's, as they say, again, paraphrasing, that's where you're supposed to go. What makes you, afraid. Now, again, side note, that doesn't mean if you're afraid of snakes to go be buddy with snakes to get over it. Is that going to benefit your life? Probably not. So don't worry about it. But in that case, because I was new to speaking, still relatively new to speaking, and I wanted to hone in on my craft, a story slam was something I should have done. And I'm glad to have a friend who cared enough to push me to do that, because she's also a speaker. She could have been like, I want to be, one of the best speakers here in Philly. Screw you. No, she's like, come on, you got this. Let's do this. So I went through that whole process of networking and, speaking, like doing so much, because I thought also I was going to miss out deep down inside too. If I didn't go to this networking event, if I didn't go to this event and that event, I'm going to miss out on something. That's not the way to think. Now I say, well, I don't want to say no, I decline a lot of invites to go to events if it doesn't feel like it resonates. And it's not about being afraid or anything like that, because I do a lot of things that I'm still, so it's fearless. It's just less fear when you launch something, when I launch something, when I do something. So it's still a little bit there, but that's not what's overriding my emotions. Now it's, does it resonate? Can we both benefit from this? And so forth. Okay. And also, wrapping up boundaries, I don't care. I do not care about other people's feelings more than my own when it comes to establishing my boundaries. I do it in a respectful way, but I am not responsible for how you feel because you are upset with my boundaries. I don't care, because if you respected the previous set of boundaries, which were lower, the boundaries wouldn't have been elevated, right? So if it was at, level green, which is pretty much low, now it's level black. You ain't getting through. You're not getting past security. You're not. So that's not on me if you feel a certain way about that. I don't care. It might sound a little harsh, but there's a mixture of people who overstep their boundaries. Oh, excuse me, overstep people's boundary. There are people who know exactly what they're doing and don't care. Those are the ones who really get upset. They say things like, oh, you changed. Oh, I miss having you around. Well, if you were also working on your personal growth, you wouldn't miss me because you would be leveling up too in your own right, in your own lane, whatever that is. But because you're not leveling up, and I really focus on a personal growth and went to the underworld and did the shadow work and came on the other side of it, a whole new person. I did all that. So why should I still entertain the emotional dumping? You're not going to change. Why should I entertain you treating me like a welcome mat? Why should I entertain that? Why do all that work just to go backwards? That doesn't make sense. So you wouldn't miss me if you were also working on yourself. You wouldn't be upset. You would be proud. So there's people who know exactly what they're doing. There are people who they just need to learn to have a little bit more confidence in themselves. They latch on to you. They don't mean any harm, things like that. And that's when you have a conversation like, hey, and again, it's a case by case basis, right? It's not to make them feel bad or anything like that. Maybe you just pull back a little bit. Okay. Because, it's not that they're a bad person. Sometimes maybe they haven't met a person like you and they're like, oh my God, this is a great person. Oh my. And then they realize how crappy other people have been to them. And it happens. Okay. So in that case, that's different, right? But there are a lot of people who know exactly what they're doing. So please do not feel guilty, ashamed, or anything like that when you establish boundaries. Next, I'm like, okay, what's next in my self-care ritual? Oh yeah. So I talked about spending time with my thoughts. And so I wanted to dive into this a little bit more. Part of my self-care ritual of spending time with me is I also do this in the dark. So I'm usually in my living room and I have my galaxy light on. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen one of or both of my galaxy lights. I have a galaxy light in my bedroom and it changes colors and things like that. And then the one in my living room is just blue with the green lights. And so many times I would just listen to my music, and music really helps raise your vibration. And I would turn on my galaxy light. My living room would be dark, and it's me, my music, and the darkness. It might sound a bit crazy to be in the dark. Here's the thing. There's beauty in the darkness. It represents our subconscious. It represents the things that need to be brought up into the light. It represents power. So when I'm relaxing in that mode, it's such a beautiful feeling. It's another way I recharge. It's peaceful. It's relaxing. And sometimes I have my incense burning. So I really set the tone. It looks like I'm just chilling out in space somewhere. Okay. So that's what I do with that. And that's why I love it. It's just really precious moments with myself to help me strengthen my mind, strengthen my magic, because I'm not afraid of the dark, right? The dark is the unknown. When I go into a place I don't know, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I need to understand the scene. But once I understand it, it's not so bad. And also with the side note, this place is not haunted, right? So, there's always these little pieces, right? But in my own home, relaxing, where I can be myself, those moments are what help fuel me. So when I go out in the world, I don't take things personally unless it is something personal. You understand? All right, wrapping this up. Pleasures. Now, pleasures does not always have to be something sexual. I love my heated blanket. I love warmth. It's so amazing. Here I go again, use an espresso. I know I mentioned espresso, but it's true. I pick one of my Nespresso pods. I have one of my mugs that I love, get that going. And I usually have like a Danish or something nearby. And I watch an old school or an old Hollywood movie. That's just what I love. It's my downtime. It's cozy. Again, appeals to the senses. It's safe. And it also allows me to take a time out in a way from spirituality, that getting in the deep of, diving into my mind and things like that. It's like a little relaxation. Just enjoy the movie while you're comfortable and warm. That's it. It's those simple things too, because sometimes we also have to not be so engrossed in spirituality and go do something like apple picking or picking out your pumpkin, going through a corn maze, going on a cruise, those 3-hour cruises where you have dinner. Sometimes you just got to do something that has nothing to do with spirituality. Okay. And you'll also end up getting some insights too about spirituality, because spirit has jokes, in case you haven't noticed. Spirit has a lot of jokes. So keep that in mind. As a recap, skincare and other self-care rituals. I'm all about my Fenty skincare line. I absolutely love it. It has done wonders for my skin on multiple levels. I highly recommend it. At least, look into it to see if it works for you. I have not come across something that smells so damn good and works so well and long lasting and makes my skin feel great at the same time. Okay. Drink plenty of water. I know some people don't like water, but I really encourage you to try and drink water, or, drink something, maybe the carbonated water, or, squeeze a little lemon in the water, something to that effect. And, lattes is my personal thing. I love it. I'm going to open one day a cafe. So mark my words. I don't know how it's going to happen, but, someone one day is going to reference this episode. That's one of my long-term goals. I can't wait. I love the many forms of coffee. Mind prep, that is a must, and it happens on, multiple levels. Again, like if I'm on vacation, chances are I'm not going to do a 2-hour mind prep. It may be some music. It may be a 20-minute mind prep, because then I'm going to go lay on a beach or something like that, or do an excursion, So, but more times than not, I'm doing that. But also, if I'm on vacation, I'm in another environment that is giving me that, food for the soul. Okay. So I'm not going to have a conference call and things like that I need that extra, working with my mind. I'm at a different state. Silence, increase incense, music, boundaries. Okay, that is definitely part of my self-care ritual. I check in with my boundaries, making sure and that they are intact, because sometimes people do try to find cracks in the wall, weeks later, months later, like, oh, maybe they're over it. No, sir, no, ma'am, not at all. Matter of fact, these walls got reinforced with titanium. Don't worry about having FOMO. That's not even a thing. Forget about it. Okay. And also, other people's emotions do not override your emotions, especially when they are the offender. Okay. Spend time with my thoughts. The galaxy light just makes me feel more cosmic. For you, you may be a plant witch. So, buy more plants. Or maybe you are, I'm trying to think of another witch that has a lot of visual aid, or maybe you are involved with crystals a lot, so you have all these crystals set out strategically around your home. Do that. For me, it's the galaxy, it's the cosmos. I love it. Like I can't get enough of it. Pleasures, the heated blanket, enjoying the Danish, all that. Watching old Hollywood movies is something I love to do. So also find things that you just really love to do. There's no rhyme and reason for it. You just like it and go do that. Okay. And that can be your downtime. That can, again, just something that's non-spiritual, but it ends up, let's face it, being spiritually related because it's fueling you. And these are some of my self-care rituals. And, that is my skincare ritual. These are the very things that have propelled me to be where I'm at. And I do check in with myself to make sure that I'm not slipping back. Like I literally can't go back. My energy, my vibration cannot go lower. My ceiling is now my floor. The floor is on lock. I'm not falling through. And then the next ceiling is going to be the floor. And I'm not falling through. And that's how it's always going to be. Just that constant level up. Shedding was not working, or it worked. Thank you. This is where the buck stops. Because as the saying goes, what got you here isn't going to get you there. So now I have to change because I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish on this level. And as long as I keep intact my rituals that fuel me, and I can always add to it, like I mentioned, the rose quartz roller, you can always add to it, but we don't subtract unless it is time to do that. We don't pull back because someone said, oh, you doing that? Isn't that extra? Oh, no. Mind your business. I was raised that unless someone is paying your bills, they don't have a say so. Okay. And even then it's about respect. Okay. You have to do what is right for you in the best way possible. You really have to get started. And once you find your groove, you can always build on that and build on that and build on that. Okay. So again, this is what has helped my mental health to keep things intact. This is what has helped me to be at peace, to be even more happy. Is that even a word? More happier. Come on, Tia. Happier. Okay. This is what has helped me to attract the opportunities and the people in my life, because the more I pour into me, the more I get to be me. And the more I get to be me, the more people see me. And the more people see me, the more they want to be with me, right? They pick up the vibe, the flow. Okay. And it's that even give and take. It's that, I learn from you, you learn from me. Okay. Stay tuned for the next episode. Let's see. The next episode is oils and other witchy things. So you may have seen some of my oils and the reels that I posted, but I'm going to dive into the oils that I have used, continue to use, and incense from the witches that I just adore so much, so powerful, and just also nice people. Okay, very kind people. So stay tuned for that. Again, if you have any questions, let's connect on the IG page, and, be it if it's DM, a comment under the post for today. And also I will post the title of, where is it again? Dr. Emoto's book. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you buy this book. It has great pictures in there to show you exactly what our words do, how it shows up physically. This is why we had to be careful with what we say. Okay? I'm sending you lots of love. Many blessings. You know I'm rooting for you. Be kind to yourself. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.